Good evening, football fans. I'm going to tell, before we get rolling, in honor of Robin Williams, I'm going to tell my one Robin Williams football joke from his 1982 concert in San Francisco. Quarterback comes up to the center and says to him, "Why haven't you called?" There you go. That's what I got. So, man, I'm crashing already.
Well, hey, you didn't. Where's my? Hold on. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, you got effects? Oh no, I'm scared.
Yeah, I am pulling up the effects. We've got to do an effect on that. There's no question. Hang on.
The sad thing is Tom Brady just made a very similar joke. I don't know.
No, that's not it.
Oh my gosh. Sound effects, huh?
There.
We're in preseason form.
I got it right finally.
Just like the Titans. Okay, well, anyway. Thank you. Tip your waitress. Yeah, week 1 of the preseason is over, and the Titans played through the great flood and persevered for victory. I think most people are talking about a certain third-string quarterback with a familiar name who made a great comeback. Do note that most quarterbacks who make a comeback to win usually are the reason why the team needs to make a comeback. So, take the good with the bad. I know, I'm just about to be called a hater, I think. Anyway, the Titans let Packers backup running backs run at will on them, including some scrub from the University of Tennessee. Wait for Sharona to complain about that. I mean, the guy injured his knee, too.
He was a good running back for Tennessee. His name is Rajon Neal, and he looked awesome, but unfortunately got hurt.
Awesome. There wasn't much to see from the offense. Justin Hunter's been called just a guy. I wanted to put, instead of Jag, put Jab, like just a blogger for me, to maybe motivate me to be better at this sort of thing. We'll talk about whether the Bill Parcells level shaming of an NFL professional athlete is a good idea, especially in today's more sensitive times, and especially the acronym itself. But anyway, we're going to get rolling. Sharona, how is life up north in Nashville?
Life is good. Does my window look small to you?
I don't know. That's like a question for, it's like, you look good. What are you talking about?
I don't know what's going on here. I'm very upset with my...
You changed the effects. It looks like your screen shrunk, but no, it's all right. You're there. You're there.
My back. Oh, see it.
Uh-oh.
I'm not happy about my small screen.
Not happy with my small screen.
Where's my close-up?
So what about the game? What do you have to say about this preseason game? Did we really get any usable intel from the game?
I think that we learned the guys are able to play in a monsoon. I think that we learned that the press box might leak a little bit. I think that we learned that somewhere there was a fan who got his Saturday night shower while at the stadium. Beyond that, I don't know what you can take away from this game. It was not a very good night overall for the defense. It got a little bit better as the back end of both rosters really got into the game, but it was, I would not say a resounding first game success for the Ray Horton defense, and they weren't happy about it either. So,
yeah, I almost wish preseason games found a way not to have a score or something, because it's like, oh, we beat the Packers. Hey, they're a playoff team. Gives maybe people more optimism than they need. I mean, one thing that was good is after both of Mettenberger's turnovers, the defense basically gave up nothing. I mean, he had that interception, which was basically a ball that bounced off Jackie Bettle's chest. I don't think he might have thrown him a fastball there. That the team held him to a field goal in that case was good. Reminds you a little of that 2008 defense. No matter what happened, they're very resilient. But yeah, overall,
They were
not a great performance.
Definitely bend, not break.
So I'm guessing you're not taking anything out of my comment about, hey, aren't we glad that the Titans aren't playing the Packers and Saints for real this year? Yeah. Woo-hoo. No.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, they didn't face Aaron Rodgers Saturday night. They're not facing Drew Brees this coming Friday night. So it's, definitely a different scenario than if it were regular season and if they were seeing, those high-tier quarterbacks.
Although, will we have some kind of PTSD from Luke McCown appearing, since he was the guy who led the Jaguars to an opening day victory over the Titans in 2011, and I'm pretty sure he was cut a few weeks after that. Oops. I know. I need an 8 for the hater, so you can just say...
You definitely do.
You're not impressed, I tell. Well, we'll keep going anyway. It's all right. You got to warm up. When you're on your second beer and second glass of wine, you got to just roll with the punches.
I'm a little distracted by my small window. I don't like my small window.
Distracted by my small window.
What's up with that?
Huh? That's how you use it.
I am.
So is there anything at all to take from this goofy Jag thing with Justin Hunter? And to explain really quickly for people who haven't heard, the receivers coach, Sean Jefferson, put JAG on the back of Justin Hunter's jersey to say just a guy because he apparently ran a wrong route during the preseason game last week. I think they know, like we all know, that Justin Hunter has an insane amount of talent. We're hoping he comes back to the talent level he showed before he tore his ACL. But this kind of, I don't know about this weird motivational kind of stuff. I don't know if it helps because it's like, well, is that how he responds, or are they just basically, I don't care?
This is what I said. I said, and I love Sean Jefferson. I think that he's a very good coach, and he's doing an excellent job with the wide receivers, but never, ever put anything Jacksonville Jaguars related on a Tennessee Titans football player. Just don't do it.
Yeah, they needed a new acronym or something. You could say
that's all I've got to say about
just this refers
situation.
To well, fine. And speaking of the Jag situation, do we officially get to laugh at everybody who said that the Texans and Jaguars would be better than the Titans just based on how they're looking in the preseason? I mean, the Texans' offense looks horrible. They got shut out by the Cardinals in the preseason. I don't know if their offensive line is okay, but their quarterbacks are bad. And Arian Foster is held together with duct tape. I think he was held out of practice again today, and they cut like half of their backup running backs. And it seems like all of the Jaguars receivers are injured, and Marquise Lee apparently has a head injury because he's just not able to do. I mean, the coach was like publicly calling him out, which doesn't really happen very much. So I don't know. I'm feeling like everybody else in the division is not exactly stepping up at the moment.
Well, I will say this. I mean, I already laughed, and so I'm not at all surprised about any of this. I knew that it would be borne out that it was sort of silly. But, I mean, it's typical of what you see, what we've always seen, really, with Titans coverage. And, this team, even in 2008, when they were winning and, on that great win streak, it was impossible for them to get any respect. It was kind of crazy. I think that if you've been around this team long enough, you're used to it.
Yeah, it's true. It does seem like for all the teams that have gone 10-0 in the past, I don't know, however long, or 8-0, the Titans just didn't have that offense. Now it's all about having that offense, and they really just had a good enough offense, great young running back, nice duo, and their defense was great. So yeah, nobody seemed to care. Even when they went 10-0, there wasn't that, oh, watch out, Dolphins, But that's what you have to deal with, right?
It's what you have to deal with. I just now noticed your banner, Zach. He likes pine. Am I missing something?
Pina coladas.
Is that a take on? Oh, I can't see.
The NEA isn't apparently available. We'll have to get an upgrade on that.
It's a little bit fuzzy. I can't. Your banner's a little fuzzy. It must have been drinking that beer along with you.
Banner's fuzzy, yes. That is true. Well, I went to lunch with a friend today, and he was playing the soundtrack from Guardians of the Galaxy, and if you've seen it, it's all like 70s. It's all like
awesome movie.
Rock, and I ended up getting the soundtrack, and I was listening to it earlier, and one of the songs is that Pina Colada song. So there you go. I have the softer side now. You know. Mm-hmm.
Well, see, there you go. There you go. So, have you seen the movie? The Titans who saw the movie, they were given a choice which movie to watch, and the ones that watched that movie thought it was awesome. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, I was like the one guy who didn't read comic books, so I really have no idea what's going on in these movies, but it was done well on the two levels. Like, I think it was good for the people who knew what was going on and people like me who didn't, and it had that Quentin Tarantino-like soundtrack going on for it, that kind of 70s hits, hooked on a feeling and stuff like that, so it was good. It was enjoyable.
Well, his movies always do have, I think that if you can incorporate good music and accompanying sounds into, like Jaws has that classic soundtrack, and a lot of other really good movies do too, and definitely Lord of the Rings, it definitely helps.
I mean, they had the dramatic music, but you had to mix that in, and it worked well with the plot. It was good. It was good. Now, what wasn't good? Segue, everybody. Titans defense. But we did get to see a little hint. We've been wondering all offseason, what is Ray Horton doing in this defense? And he had to do a starting lineup. So, what did you think about? Do you think the starting lineup, is that the way it's going to be in the regular season? Do you think, Casey is an end?
No. Zach Brown did not start the first defensive series. We do not know what's going on with Zach Brown. He
That's true.
Got into the old coaching last season and very quickly ran afoul of this one as well. I don't know what to make of this. We had Teresa Walker on the radio show Wednesday. I asked her about it. Nobody really knows what both coaching staffs have kind of put him on notice and called him out. Like, he's supremely talented. And while I like Akeem Ayers and definitely like the new linebacker Wesley Whittier that they brought in, but as the group of linebackers coming from the old regime, from the old staff to the new staff, he was probably the most talented. And again, I like Akeem Ayers, but he just, apparently there's something going on up here with the guy. As far as the rest, I definitely think that you're going to see that rotation a lot. I seem to like Sammy Hill a lot in the middle. You're going to see, but you're going to see Ray Horton use multiple fronts. And I don't know. I didn't go back, and sometimes PFF will gather some of those stats. I didn't go back and look to see what I might actually do that now, but I haven't had a chance to really look at it. I don't know exactly everything that they ran, but I know that what I've seen in camp, and you're going to see some rotation. You're going to see, guys move inside and out, and but I think that that's a look that you will see. Yes.
Yeah, I guess that's something that, I don't know, even casual fans have kind of caught on. Like, sure, when the announcers are talking about the defense, that's what the starting lineup is. But, like, by play 3, on a third down, they're going to rotate I think I saw from Thomas Gower that they had like a 3 cornerback, 1 safety thing going on for a while. Like they had Bleedy in the cover in the slot, and they had Cody
They
outside, and they
had three
had
safeties
Pollard.
in yesterday's practice. They were running a lot of nickel and dime. I don't know how much of that was geared toward, they're going to see two pretty high octane throwing, good passing teams in the next 2 preseason games. So I don't know how much of that was geared toward, this is what we're going to do. Now, I asked Wesley Woodyard if we could expect to see a lot of that. And he gave a good, he's very good at interviews. He gave a good kind of general answer. I think that you probably can. It's a passing league. A lot of teams are going to try to pass the ball on them. So, yeah, you're going to see some different looks. Ray Horton likes to mix it up a lot, and so, well, it's going to be fun to watch and see exactly, what they do roll out over the course of, the first several games.
Yeah, I think I read that like nickel defense is almost like a starting defense now in the NFL. So that third guy is.
It really is sort of the base anymore.
Third guy is really important. That's probably why the Titans have been drafting a ton of cornerbacks in the past few drafts, anticipating the end of Werner and then having guys. Okay, we're going to skip all the prepared stuff and let's talk about you and your access in the locker room. What's going on? And say your piece and talk about that.
Let me say this too. Not only are they drafting a lot of cornerbacks, but they're actually drafting a lot of defensive backs that can play both cornerback and safety. And we're seeing Khalid Wooten. He's played some safety in camp. A guy who's played cornerback, and so it's definitely kind of a trend for them. I got to attend a couple of media-only practices this year. It was very nice. Got a chance to get in the locker room and got a chance to get in the locker room and watch guys being interviewed, which is fascinating in and of itself, and also talk to some of them, and they were all very nice.
You say you got to talk to Woodyard. Are you at any first name basis with him now?
No. Well, I actually wanted to talk to him because as I was watching practice, my days are messed up. I guess yesterday, Wednesday, and Tuesday was the last open practice. Cannot keep the days separate. It's been so crazy lately. So today's Thursday. See, we usually do this show on Wednesday night, so I'm totally messed up anyway. Yesterday, and I was watching the practice, and I noticed that he was calling a lot of the defensive plays, and so I was like, I didn't know, maybe he's been asked this, but I had not actually. It occurred to me that I didn't know who was going to wear the mic, if they had announced who would be wearing the mic, or if anybody had asked. And so I wanted to ask him. I wanted to know. I mean, it makes sense, right, that it definitely makes sense that one of the linebackers would. And so I asked him, and he said, that he would probably be the one, and that he is probably going to play most of the downs. He's basically an every down linebacker. Now, he won't play. There's some packages and stuff that he might not play in, but yeah, so he's going to wear the defensive mic. And I got a chance to talk to Dexter McCluster, and he was great. He's really a very engaging guy. He was very I don't know what word I'm looking for. He was fun to talk to. He definitely was a guy who seemed to enjoy interacting, not just with me, but with everybody. He was very interactive with whoever was talking to him. I watched some other people talk to him first. Got a chance to watch Justin Hunter being interviewed, and he really is such a shy, humble guy. He's a lot bigger than I expected him to be. But yeah, he was great. George Wilson's always great with the media. Always gives good interviews. So I stood and watched Sean Phillips answering some questions. He was great. I had a chance to ask Michael Preston some questions. I'm working on a little thing with him. Kendall Wright I stood and watched him answer some questions. So yeah, I mean, it's a good group. They were all very, very nice to me.
How many media ends up at a practice? I mean, how many people are are they all massed around?
It is pretty, in terms of what you can do and not do, it's pretty controlled. You're not walking all over the
Yeah,
field or whatever.
I bet.
So, and it's not, no, it's not a big group at all. It's pretty diverse. You know, I wasn't the only female there. That was good. Good to see.
That's right. That's good
That
to hear.
right.
That's good to hear. See, that's why you'll be less.
I lived for Bernard Pollard.
Coverage. All right, Crush Boy.
Yeah, I did. I was gonna. I wanted to interview him. I could not find him anywhere, and I almost. Delaney Walker was in there, and I almost went up to ask him a few questions, but it looked like he was a little bit preoccupied, and so I did not. But hopefully someday I'll get a chance to. I really do have some questions, particularly some fantasy football related stuff. He's probably like, there's that girl who's always telling everybody that I'm great in fantasy, and you guys don't understand that's true.
Just don't throw him the microphone, he might drop it. Oh, ouch, too soon. Oh, we have to do this because
he's made some nice plays. What day was it? The Tuesday practice? I don't think that he dropped anything. Is that?
Oh, but now that I see McCluster back in the notes, I do remember he was interviewed because I watched the replay of the game. It was at a lovely time, 9 a.m. on Sunday. Perfect, football watching time for me. And I think he seemed invigorated because he's going to be a running back again. I think that's, he's been a receiver / running back, and the only time he really played running back in Kansas City was when Jamal Charles was hurt. Otherwise, they really didn't give him the ball. They have a lot of these receivers in the NFL where they're like, oh, we're going to give him a lot of carries, and they never really do. And now he got 2 carries before Sankey was on the field. So
yeah, I asked him if he had well, first I asked him, I was like, you're going to be doing all of this stuff. You're multi-talented, multi-purpose. I asked him if he had set any sort of personal goals. He said he just wants to make plays and all of that. And I asked him if he had a position that he preferred, and he said he loved them all.
I can't remember if it was Jim Wyatt, some beat writer was covering the team, and he was doing like fantasy projections, and he projected like 50 catches from McCluster and like 7 touchdowns. So he believes in McCluster in the Woodhead role.
I said the other night that I was asked about fantasy options for the Titans, and I said, I don't. If I had, first of all, it's so hard to predict because I don't want to reveal everything because I'm going to work on. I want to do a little short feature from that interview with him. But I was on a podcast the other night, and I said, if I'm not so sure that if I had to choose right now, that I wouldn't pick Dexter McCluster as the guy who's going to have the biggest fantasy impact. I mean, I believe in Justin Hunter. I think Justin Hunter is supremely talented. He looks great in camp, light years ahead of where he was last year. But who's going to have the biggest impact? I mean, especially in a league where you're going to get points for special team plays and, all of that. So.
Yeah, if you get kick return and punt return yardage, I mean, I think he's probably just going to return punts, but hey, half the kicks end up in the end zone anyway.
He fielded some kickoffs.
Just considering the Titans who've had some issues with special teams is like, yeah, have 2 or 3 guys who can return kicks.
Yeah, right.
About special teams, I do wonder because they basically gave Mariani all the roles last week, and it seemed like he had a couple passes that he had a chance to catch, and he didn't quite bring them in. Although he's never really been a receiver of the team. I mean, he probably has 5 catches in his career. So, but
yeah, something like that, 6 maybe.
They're in need of that.
I heard some people say, and some of the media guys were talking about it, and tend to agree. I don't know that it's that set in stone, but they were of the opinion that Mark Mariani would have to make the team as a wide receiver, not at the return position. I think that the return position can't be ignored because he would, be a guy that they could use if needed. And if he absolutely sucked at it in practice or in preseason, that it would kill any chances. But he hasn't. He's looked good. He seems to have recovered. I haven't really noticed any lingering issues from the past few injuries. He seems very fast, very quick. He's catching the ball. He seems to be doing everything in the return game that he needs to do, and he's making plays was making plays in training camp, catching the ball. He made some really nice receptions. They've just got so many numbers. I mean, there are some people who think that, oh gosh, Rubisky. I had to think of his name. Brian Rubisky is in line there. It's probably going to come down between Brian Rubisky and Derek Hagan because this is the way I see it now. Obviously, you've got Nate Washington, Kendall Wright, Justin Hunter. Mike Preston's going to make this roster. I don't think that there's any question but that he's going to make this roster. And then you've got that fifth wide receiver. Do they carry 6 wide receivers? I don't know. So it looks like it's going to come down to that 5th wide receiver spot.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, do they keep 5 just because, at running back you're going to have Sean Green, you're going to have Sankey. It looks like Battle's playing fullback or maybe a mixed role, so he might make the team in that way.
Mixed role.
And then McCluster, who can play running back, and then you have Washington, who's like a kick returner / running back. So how many rosters?
They have Derek McCluster. Derek. They have Dexter McCluster listed at running back, I believe.
Yeah, he's got a running back number. I don't even know, because I heard somebody talk about like fantasy, like, oh, they'll run him out in the slot. I was like, well, it looks like they're starting, from my limited seeing one training camp, it was like Nate Washington and Kendall Wright were starting, and then they'd go to 3 guys, and then Wright would be in the slot, and they'd put Hunter in there. So I don't know if McCluster's really going to be a slot guy. He could be a running back /
I have not.
Screen pass dude.
I don't believe I've seen him. No, wait. Let me think about this. He's definitely been split out wide. The last play that I recall, he was split wide left. They had. I have to go back and look and see if I caught this in a picture. Yesterday, they ran a ton of 3 and 4 wide receiver sets, and in one play they had a 5 wide receiver set. Where McCluster was split out wide to the left, I believe. I don't think he was in the slot, but anyway, he motioned back into the backfield. They're running a lot of bunch formations. It's been, Fisher-Ball's gone. They're running a lot of things that you don't traditionally associate with the Titans offense.
Well, one thing, the comparison between Danny Woodhead and McCluster has been made, but at the same time, McCluster has played receiver for years, so putting him in that position does make sense occasionally. Get the right matchup, could be all right. So, but we have to do this. Do we do the moment of silence? Do we pour one out for Colin McCarthy? Because it looks like
yes, I think that we do.
It's been rough because
Here's to you, Colin.
His rookie year, he won Defensive Player of the Week. He was making turnovers left and right. It looked like that future middle linebacker. And after that first year, he just had injuries and never quite fit in, and didn't seem like he really had a shot at starting.
It's really been a fall from grace.
At least this is his 4th year, but I think he's IR, and that's probably the end of that.
Mm-hmm.
And we can segue.
Yeah, it's sad. It's very, very sad.
Segue just a little bit into fantasy talk. Now, some people seem to be overreacting, and maybe this happens every year. I'm just not noticing, but it seems like people were talking about Bishop Sankey dropping in fantasy rankings just because he was the third running back used in the preseason game. I don't really think there's anything to it. I think ultimately he's going to get the most touches, but he may not get them starting week 1. That's possible, but I still think. Are you kidding me that Sean Green's really better than him? It's just he's a veteran guy. Plus, I think they started Sean Green in a way because we've heard these rumors about, he had knee surgery, maybe he would make the team. They wanted to give him a shot. And he did look good in that touchdown run. He's
looked good in camp. I don't. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that I think that they're going to. Trying to think of how I want to put this. I think that Bishop Sankey will get about 40%, 40 to 45%, maybe, of the snaps between. I don't know. I think that that's too much too, because when you consider that all of the running backs and even Jackie Battle, you saw it the other night, are going to be used in the passing game. So when you're talking about, carries, I think that you're going to see Sean Green, Dexter McCluster, and Jackie Battle on the field in obvious situations, or not even obvious situations, in situations where they need somebody with pass protection skills. And that's one of the things that I've noticed about Dexter McCluster. He very much does put you in the mind of Chris Johnson in terms of his size, his the way he runs and looks and everything. He definitely is along those lines, but he's a pretty good blocker. I was actually shocked. I was like, hey, look, a guy that blocks, and he's willing to do it. He's in there trying to do it, which obviously goes a long way too. So I think that's so hard to project what Bishop Sankey is going to do, because we haven't seen, has he improved dramatically in his blocking skills, and he wasn't that good at it in college.
Well, he actually looked better as a receiver than a running back in that first game. I was just looking at Chris Johnson's rookie year, and you really can't compare because, hey, Chris Johnson did have a 2,000-yard season for as much crap as people give him, and possibly rightly so. But, yeah, Chris Johnson had 294 touches as a rookie and 10 touchdowns. That would be way above what you probably expect Bishop Sankey to get. But I still think he's going to lead the team in total touches, but I still think Sean Green's going to get his, and Dexter McCluster will get his, because we'll play that assumption of rational coaching. I think coaches over time will see that Bishop Sankey is a better running back than Dexter McCluster, who's a gadget kind of guy, and eventually he will get more touches, but I don't think that's going to happen right away. So you have to be, I guess, patient. Like, think about a guy like Zach Stacy, who last year I don't think had a touch for the first 5 weeks, and I think had a 1,000-yard season. So I think he might be a guy who gets better as the year goes on. And the good news about him is his 2 years in college, he had like insane amount of touches. So he can do it. It's just, can he do it in the NFL? Because the NFL is slightly better than college and better than the Pac-12. We're not talking about the SEC, right? Can't believe you're actually like talking to me, because like the SEC network is actually live.
I was just gonna let you finish spouting off and then say, I can promise you that Zach is wrong on Bishop Sankey, and you heard it here.
Wrong? No,
I'm kidding. I don't know. Maybe you're right.
I'm just saying, if Sean Green and Dexter McCluster get 250 touches, then we're looking at another, number 8 draft pick next year. Well, we're probably looking at that anyway, but it's just, I feel like Bishop Sankey has the, as they say, the upside. Doesn't mean he's done anything, but he could be good, right? No? Anyway, so you did not make it to the game, right?
I did not make it to the game.
For good reason.
I was, yes, I was still elevating and icing my foot that got sprained the first day of Titans training camp. And I also had agreed to help a good friend of mine and someone who works with me at National Gridiron Network, which is now NGSC Sports. But yeah, so he actually is affiliated, I should say, with NGN, but he's from TSRN. So, but we're now NGSC Sports. So anyway. So no, I did not go to the game. I did watch it, and I did a recap on it, and I recorded it, and went back and watched some of the plays. I was actually thinking today that it might be time to delete that because I'm probably not going to. If I do rewatch anything on it, it'll be on Preseason Live. But yeah, I did not go. It was weird, and then I saw the rain, and I was like, cool. But it was weird not going because I'm always going.
Yeah, it's the weird thing with like HD. Like even if it's pouring, sometimes you won't see it. And then you saw how hard it was raining. My parents were at the game, and they confirmed that the Wi-Fi is there. Woohoo! Wi-Fi! Finally we can catch other games. Not that we would want to, because the best team in the NFL is in Nashville. But just in case, let's just say we know how to multitask.
Yeah, I told Zach that's going to be. Not only are you going to hear annoying chatter, you're going to hear people talking to you, sitting next to you, checking their fantasy football. I mean, it's going to be different.
It's going to be like everywhere else in the world. I mean, I go to meetings. I go to meetings at work, and half the people are checking their phone half the time. You go to lunch with someone, and they're checking their phone half the time. I don't know how it is in the dating world because I'm an old fogey, but you know, I have a feeling it's tough to go on a date and like not have somebody check their phone. I mean, it's just what we do now. It's crazy, but yeah. I did hear the new concessions are there, and the prices have apparently gone up, but that's, you know, how we do it in NFL stadiums. But yeah, I don't think people are going to actually have like Sunday ticket on their phone, like watching other games while the Titans are on. I really doubt that's going to happen, but they can.
I do. I definitely do.
Well, it's not like the Jaguars will actually play the red zone because everybody knows they want to watch something else. Oh, that might be the way it goes. Because
my hair's almost dry. I'm sorry I've been worried with it, but it's definitely, it's always a process getting it to dry. It's like a 3-hour deal.
So much.
Zach's so used to this, so he gets to hear me talk about my hair drying process all the time.
Hair talk.
I was gonna weigh in. I was just gonna weigh in, if you'll allow me to, about the whole being on your phone on a date thing. I try not to do that. I actually will. I will periodically check. Right here. I will periodically check my phone.
Just kidding.
But especially if it's a relatively new situation, because I just think it's rude. You know, I think it's rude if you're out with someone, and I do this with my friends. And I used to be kind of bad about it, but I decided that that was an area that I needed to improve, and I try not to do that because I think that if you're with someone, whether it's family, friends, or a possible love interest or a love interest, that you should devote your time to them. We want to think that we're so, and we are really plugged in, but I think that you've got to be careful about that. So anyway, my 2 cents. Love advice from Sharona.
There you go. Like, hey, check out this cool cat video.
All right, anyway. Carry on. Sorry, Zach. I just had to say that.
On. Yeah, I just want to know, you know, how the kids do it. You know, when I was dating, it was like internet dating was a thing that was, you didn't want to talk about it, but it seems now that's pretty much what everybody does. Because, you know.
Well, I mean, some people are so busy. Where are they going to meet people?
I mean, do they have like a dating site for just Titans fans? I don't know.
I don't know.
You might want to date someone who's not a fan of a different team, just just saying. Be a poor thing to bring a child into the world, having the root of the Titans, and having no other choice.
I am used to a mixed sports marriage. My parents were mixed sports marriage, so it's all right.
Mixed sports marriage.
I don't think that. I'm trying to think. Yes, I have dated other Titans. Yes, I have dated someone who is a Titans fan.
An Alabama fan, or is that a no? Automatic no.
No, this was. He wasn't the guy. No, he was not a college sports fan at all. If he had to pick, it would be Notre Dame.
Ew. Well,
that's Catholic.
You feel so bad. You know, my dad went to University of Pittsburgh, but he is Catholic, and he went to the Notre Dame, was it the big cathedral in Paris, and he actually lit a candle and prayed that Pitt would beat Notre Dame. And guess what? Pitt did not beat Notre Dame. So there you go.
Well, yeah.
Pitt's had some issues. I think the joke about Tom Savage, I probably told this one before, is like, imagine how good Pitt. Imagine how good Pitt would have been if they had had Tom Savage as their quarterback last year, which he was, and they went 6-6. But you're saying something about Johnny F.
Yes.
Football?
Does he like Johnny Majors?
Sure, that's right. He was at Pitt before he went south to Tennessee, and it's weird how many SEC programs seem to be kind of stuck in the mud for a while, and now they've really caught on. Like Florida didn't do anything until the 80s, and Tennessee struggled for a while. And LSU had some issues for a while. They had that coach they signed out of Vandy. I forget his name right now, but yeah. But now
Wasn't it Woody?
Everything in the SEC is all good. I'm trying to remember. It was he took Vandy to a 5-6 season, and then LSU hired him, and he was absolutely horrible. But I can't remember his name.
I think it was Woody. But
now they have their grass-eating coach, and it's all good.
I'm gonna have to look this up now.
It wasn't. I don't know. Anyway, so we want to transition to. 15 minutes to go. We got fantasy football talk. I've been trying to do a series on fantasysports.org about different kinds of leagues. It's kind of Fantasy Sports 101, but I did an article this week about best ball leagues, which are just draft and forget, like MFL 10s, or Fantasy Taz does this Draft Master League. I don't know if you've done any of these, but it's kind of like you take the next step from you do a mock draft, and you're kind of drafting against a computer program. So you don't
Jerry DiNardo, of course.
Gonna feel, Jerry DiNardo. He was a disaster at LSU, but man.
Yeah.
It's anytime a coach wins 5 games at Vandy, he must be really good, but not anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway, just trying to get prepared for the season and doing a lot of, kind of best ball leagues and trying to think about the different strategies you need in different kind of leagues. Best ball, the best part about best ball is you don't have to do what is the most frightening part about fantasy football, and that's setting your weekly lineup. I can't tell you how many times, because I drive to my friend's house because he has Sunday ticket. We just got rid of it. I don't know what I'm going to do this year. And 5 minutes before kickoff, I was on my phone desperately trying to make a last-minute change, which almost never worked out in my favor. But when you do a best ball league, the league sets your lineup for you, so you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Although, I don't know, it's basically, if you really like drafting and nothing else, best ball, there you go, you're all set, because you don't have to do anything. And I kind of consider it a mock draft because you get the results, but you're not, unless you're doing, my fantasy league does these ones that are for money, so you're actually playing for money, so you're going to pay attention. But when the league's not for money and you're just drafting, you're just hey, let me try some stuff out. Let me see what happens when I make different kind of picks in the different rounds and what kind of team I end up with. And, I'm doing one right now, and I've taken 3 straight running backs, so we'll see how that works out.
We had Liz Loza on the radio strategies, and she's very much that you don't draft a quarterback, you draft a running back, and so she would agree with that.
Well, it seems that yeah, last year there was a big push toward going like running back, just because there wasn't a lot of depth. And last year we just had an amazing amount of really horrific injuries. Like C.J. Spiller was like a first round pick, and he sucked. He was injured half the year, and
Yeah,
what's
I
his
missed
name?
on him.
Muscle Hamster. Everybody was drafting him even like above Adrian Peterson, and he missed out. And my cat's starting to yap, so that should be fun.
Hi, kitty cat.
But it's tough with running backs. I mean, there really isn't that much depth. So you're like, should I just grab two guys real quick and see what happens? I'm trying to remember who I took. Like I had the fourth pick, so I think I got Forte. And I remember I took Zach Stacy. I've been taking Zach Stacy a lot in the third round lately, so we'll see how that goes. Jeff Fisher likes to run his running backs into the ground, and I don't care. I don't think Trey Mason's going to be that.
Do you agree that LaShawn McCoy is the consensus #1 pick across fantasy leagues?
Well, it does seem like those top four guys are still a lot based on last year. Like if you look at Jamal Charles' career numbers, he had an insane career year last year. I mean, he had more catches than he ever had. He led the Chiefs in catches. He had like 19 touchdowns, and his career high before was like 8. You just don't know. And I think LaShawn McCoy is the only guy out of that. Well, of course, Adrian Peterson's had some good years, but he's actually had that number before. Like I'm still a little bit, despite the Trestman offense, a little worried about Forte just because he hasn't been consistently great. He's been consistently really good, and just touchdowns are so crazy. Like if a guy has 12 touchdowns, it's tough to predict them to do it again, just because that's the big variable you're not sure about. Getting in the end zone is a big deal.
What do you think Adrian Peterson's going to do this year, Zach?
Well, the word has been that Norv Turner offenses throw the ball to running back a lot, and Adrian Peterson hasn't got a lot of catches lately. The only issue is, after he came back from the ACL, he had that crazy year with 2,100 rushing yards and just dominated. And then last year, he missed games, and not only did he missed games in your fantasy playoffs, so you're a little bit worried. He's getting up in age. He's like 29 years old. I interviewed a Vikings fan a couple weeks ago, and Chris Myers, he was really he's got 5 years left. I'm like, are you kidding me? He's going to be running at 33 years old, but hey, you never know. He is kind of bionic. So, yeah, I did draft him. I did a Fanium league, and Fanium's like a draft app, and it has bizarre rules. Like you start 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 4 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends, and no kickers, no defense, which is great. But running back was kind of devalued, and I ended up getting Adrian Peterson in the second round because everybody was grabbing quarterbacks and wide receivers early. I kind of like that evening out of positional value if you add a quarterback. And it was only 8 teams, too, and it was a really, 16 rounds. So, I don't know, I kind of like these different kind of drafts at this point. But I still, I think Adrian Peterson, I feel like he's going to have a good year this year. It's just, I have my mindset toward my keeper draft, which is next week. So I'm thinking do I take these guys who might have 1 or 2 years left, or do I, grab the younger guys who might have upside and might also suck? That's fantasy for you.
Yeah. Have you heard about this reality sports online deal?
No. What's happening?
It's like a new type of fantasy football experience. I've been invited to do it, and I didn't know if I was going to see if you had any experience with it or knew anything about it. It looks like it's pretty cool. You should check it out.
Vaguely familiar. Is it like you get to be like a GM kind of situation?
Yes, GM. Yes.
Well, I'm already voting for you next Titans GM, so get some experience in.
You've got a salary cap and everything. I mean, it looks cool. It's like a lot of work.
Yeah. That's the problem. I end up signing up for a couple leagues. I'm like, oh yeah, I have to actually maintain these teams during the season. So it was funny. I actually ran to my boss at the break room, and he was talking about football, and he was like, "We should start a fantasy league." I'm like, "Oh no, another one."
Yeah, I really had to curtail my fantasy football activity. Largely successful. So I've got my NFL female draft coming up soon, and in fact, I need to figure out when this other draft is, and I'm in a kind of an interesting. I haven't quite figured out what I'm doing league with a bunch of Carolina Panthers guys, and I think that I actually ended up signing up for two different teams in because it's like this huge deal, and I didn't know what I was doing. I think you can invite people who signed up to agree to do this. You can invite them to come and put their team in your league, and so I think I actually have two teams in there. So I'm gonna have to figure that out because I definitely need to attend both of those drafts. So, but I've been pretty good. If I've got two there, then I've got my Startup Dynasty, and I've got the Yahoo League, and I've got the NFL Female, and then if I do this reality sports thing, I'll have that. I had to turn some people down. I have so much going on. I'm going to be doing so much this season that I just can't. I can't have 6 or 7 fantasy football teams this year. I just cannot.
Yeah, it seems fun on the outset, and it's always cool to be invited, and then you're like, oh yeah, I have to actually like maintain and look at waiver lists, and if you're in a bunch of different kinds of leagues, that's difficult. If you're in kind of similar stuff, then maybe it's not as hard, but yeah, it's tough having a full dance card, isn't it?
It is.
Miss podcasts all the time, 24/7.
Tell you, man. I was messaging with someone about getting them set up on a segment or a show. I was laying out all of the possibilities, and I wanted to say, damn, I'm tired just thinking about all this, you know? It's like, holy cow, I do all of that? What?
Mm-hmm. It's like once you're established at a certain level, you don't notice that so much. But I swear, you got, what, 3 or 4 shows a week, and I'm guessing when the season starts... If
I'm not doing any guest spots, I do 8 hours.
Right, you get the daily show, of course.
Yeah, a radio or, some sort of on-the-air something throughout the week. And then if I do any guest spots, it can be up to 12 hours. And so it's really kind of crazy when you think about it. And plus writing, and there's an incredible amount of time that you invest in producing and doing a radio show. It really is a little on a different level, and so I can't believe that I actually managed to do it all. I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm literally like incredulous that I've made it work so far.
She makes it work, y'all. That's how it goes. And she even talks to me, even though I, write my notes.
Aw, I love you, Zach. I wouldn't trade this for anything. Getting to call you a hater and talk Tennessee Titans stuff. Did you notice I'm wearing a Titans shirt?
Oh, look at that. Titans.
I've got my fancy Titans earrings on.
Wow. My wife has like 5 countdowns on her desktop, and one of them was the countdown to the Missouri-Tennessee game. And where are you?
Yeah?
It's only like 98 days, and I'm like, that's like the second to last game of the year for Missouri. I'm like, and that's only 100 days away, really? Dang.
That's kind of quick.
That college season is compressed.
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide if I want to go to the Missouri-South Carolina game, because I have, it's the other Columbia. There was like a bus deal through the Alumni Association. I don't think that worked out, but that's the close game. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to Knoxville, but yeah. So I want to see him twice. Let us die. Hello? Hello? Internet, come back.
Hello, are you there?
Internet,
You
you
disappeared
there?
on me.
It's like a weekly thing. Something's got to die, right? But yeah, Tennessee, Missouri, the battle for who gets bowl eligible. It could be fun.
Could be fun. What are you predicting for Missouri this year?
People seem really, well, compared to last year, optimistic. Like they're, 7 to 8 wins. So, I don't know. It'd be cool to see them win the SEC East again, but I think the SEC East is going to be slightly better than last year, so it's going to be tough. I like seeing them beat Texas A&M again, just because I don't know why Texas A&M annoys me, but it just does.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch how it goes down this year. I don't know. We'll see.
And boom, it's college football. Boom, that's what happens.
Boom.
So you don't really care. You're like,
fantasy. Cat sounds just like a baby.
He has extraordinary. He really should be recorded. He has amazing vocal strength and stamina. And he's like 17 years old, by the way, so he's strong. Dude's got.
My puppy dog has not wanted to make an appearance. I'm surprised.
Well, I have a cat right behind because he likes the warm computer. It's very nice and warm. So what are we? How many days are we? So it's like 3 weeks from Sunday's opening day. Is that right? Opening NFL Sunday.
Rather soon.
And 4 weeks to the home opener, which will definitely be the next time I'm in Nashville. So party time. You got tickets? You ready?
Party time.
Are you going to be like...
I'm ready.
On the sideline and stuff?
To Atlanta.
For the preseason game? Yeah, that's the night of our local draft, so I'm guessing we're all going to be a little bit tipsy at that point.
I think it would be fun.
The one year we went to a Falcons preseason game after our draft, that was when Mike Vick tore his ACL. The guy who drafted him was sitting next to me, and he was quite upset.
Oh no.
That's still, I mean, even years later, that's still the number one.
I bet.
That's the number one jersey.
Who was it?
I don't think more guys.
I was talking to somebody,
more fans
or I
wear
was
Ryan.
reading someone. I can't remember where I saw this, but I saw something somewhere about the Falcon Stadium and attending a game. Currently attending a game at the Falcon Stadium, and whoever it was talking about it said that you still see more Michael Vick jerseys than anything.
Well, I mean, it was
Michael Vick Falcons jerseys than anything.
It was like an epic, world-changing event when they traded up for him, because when I came here, I went to see a Steelers game, and all the Steelers fans were there. And the Falcons just had been bad forever. And even though they've had a nice, they've had a pretty good run lately, it's still iffy. And I still like, Matt Ryan, it's turned out to be a pretty good pick, but I'm still not totally convinced. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. I mean, they have this new stadium they're putting together, and it's just, Atlanta's a weird town. I mean, they built Turner Field for the Olympics, and they're already building a new stadium. It's like, the Titans are going to start working on LP Field, sequel. Sorry, Nashville. I don't care what happens. You're never getting a Super Bowl. You're never getting anything.
Well, they have definitely indicated that upgrades are necessary, and they've already done some upgrades. They're going to be doing some more upgrades.
Yeah,
there's no question.
You got that giant big screen, which is important. It's important to attend a football game and watch it on TV, even though you're at the game, because it's much better like HD than actually watching on the field sometimes, especially when you're upper deck.
I do look at the screen some. Yeah, I look at the screen some.
Look at the screen. I cannot stop.
Look at me on the big screen. And the guys use it too. I mean, the players use the screens too.
Yeah, I've seen
I think they're cool.
players like
Good
running
job,
for a
Titans.
touchdown who actually like look behind the, look at the screen to see if somebody's coming up to them.
I'm really anxious to see the changes, see the food and all of that.
It's coming soon. It's
Coming
coming
soon.
soon. Real football. I haven't made a lot of plans beyond the opener, but yeah, definitely will be there. I think Gunnels will be there. We'll see. We'll see who else is there. Maybe Dynamite shows up in his beard. I don't know how his beard's doing. Was it him or August who was the big Rusty Smith fan? I was trying to remember. One of those guys from MZM was just like loving the Rusty.
Well, we know Dano was not the biggest Jake Locker fan, so he might have been the Rusty Smith fan. I don't know.
Oh, Jake, you could own Nashville. Just stay healthy for like 4 weeks in a row. Trust me, it's gonna work out. So look at us. We've like done time. We've done like an hour. We've chatted the footballs, and we barely covered anything. We didn't talk about the Peyton Manning, Eli Manning NFL ticket commercial, which is
I have not seen
horrible and
it, so
fascinating
my
at the same
part in that
time.
would be
My
part in that would be small. I have not seen it.
Like most Manning attempts at humor, they're not comedians, but what are you gonna do? Anyway,
I don't know that I ever got through football on your phone either, though. But TBH.
Peyton had a couple of scenes in a Saturday Night Live appearance. The one where he did where he was with the little kids. That was a pretty good skit. But other than that, yeah, he didn't take himself too seriously. But he's gonna be all right. I'm telling you, 5 years from now, him and Tom Brady will be starring some kind of sitcom. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Get ready, America. I don't know if you're ready, but it's gonna happen.
Oh Lord, we'll see.
And Eli will be the special guest star.
Oh yeah.
All right, Sharona, so wrap it up. What you got going on? Tell everybody where to find you and what you got content-wise, and how you're gonna make us smarter football fans.
Yeah, right. We're gonna talk some barbecue playlist next week on the radio show, so be sure to tune into that and support your girl Sharona because she wants to win this contest. I'm going to be pairing off against my co-host Vashti over who has the best barbecue playlist. So stay tuned for that. You can find me on Twitter at Sports by Sharona. And you can find my training camp updates, daily updates on Sports by Sharona and NationalGridironNetwork.com. You can also find me writing at Pro Player Insiders. And I've got a couple of cool features coming up on Dexter McCluster, Michael Preston, and hoping to work on my Derek Hagan piece and incorporate some more stuff in his features. So plenty of things going on that. And so Zach, what about you? You didn't talk about your new website.
I didn't hear about this barbecue playlist though. With all this, it's like you pick your best barbecue, or
songs.
I feel like everybody's a winner. Songs. Okay. Interesting.
Music.
Me. What I'm up to? Well, I'm writing a bunch of content over at fantasysports.org. I've been doing a series on types of fantasy leagues, and I'm going to just keep rolling with that. Did an interview with Jeff Miller of Dynasty League Football this week. He apparently has a mustache that has a separate identity, and he's not a big fan of Cordarrelle Patterson, so watch out for him in fantasy.
Oh, wow.
And there'll be more going on. I'm going to be trying probably the week before the season to do some daily content about daily fantasy, because that's a big thing. But types of leagues, how to win your leagues, how to find a league, and maybe how to become a world-famous fantasy football writer like we are. Zach_Law on Twitter, and fantasysports.org. You'll find the content there with some pretty pictures, and try to keep everybody entertained. Because that's what we do. We're entertainers. We're playmakers, just like Chris Johnson. Maybe not.
Entertainers. We didn't talk about Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson is still very much in bitter girlfriend, broken relationship mode with the Tennessee Titans.
Well, I'll give him some credit because like he actually did run a little bit harder last year than I'd seen him before. But for the most part, he's still going to the fetal position. We'll see how he does in an RBBC at the Jets because I don't think they have very good running, like offensive line. He'll see. He'll miss us.
We shall see. All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Football is